Hello and welcome, random person on the internet. My name is NayaCat, and first of all, I want to say thank you. My Creepypasta video did way better than I expected, and it's just insane to me that you guys liked me rambling about my old characters. And since I too like to talk about my characters, especially the old ones, I decided, you know what? I'm going to do it again, but this time with another set of characters who were more or less part of the Slenderverse. For the people who don't know what Slenderverse is, I refer to it as a subcategory of the Creepypasta fandom. But basically, Slenderverse characters are mainly people, mostly humans, who work for the Slenderman, and they are often referred to as Slenderman proxies, or proxies for short. The best known proxies in the fandom are Mesky and Hoodie from Marble Hornets, which is a found footage kinda YouTube series, and I do recommend watching it. It's kinda amazing. I think I got introduced by the proxies via Mesky and Hoodie, or well, the Marble Hornets fandom, and around this time people were creating Slenderman proxies, and I was like, you know what? I want them too! I already have Creepypasta characters, so why not Slenderman proxies? And again, I decided to use 3 characters, and to be fair, I only had 3 Slenderman proxies before I decided to make them more original, I guess. But here we have, from left to right, Natalie Rose, Ivan Clinton, and Ricardo Rivera. The first proxy that I created was Ricardo. Back when Ricardo was a Slenderman proxy, he used to have dissociative identity disorder, but I think 14-year-old me more or less used it to make him more interesting, which is totally wrong actually, if I'm being honest. I didn't do any proper research about DID, and now I don't think I can really work with it. And it's nothing against the disorder, it's just that I feel it's very disrespectful for people who actually do have it and then use it to give your character more, I guess, I don't know the word, but something interesting going on for them. But me personally, I can't really think of the new lore with Ricardo having DID. So the DID thing is scrapped. Ricardo doesn't have it anymore. Other than that, as a proxy, he was supposed to be one who just attacks intruders. Well, more or less an alter of his was supposed to attack intruders of the Slenderman forest or whatever. Nowadays, he is more of an observer. He observes people who were marked by Tenebros and kind of gets to know their routine. And for those who don't know what Tenebros is, or who Tenebros is my own original character. I've made a video about him before, so go watch it if you're curious about him. But he is important for the new rewrites of my old Slenderman proxies, who are now currently known as sages. Or Tenebros sages, I guess. Anyway, moving on. The second one that I had made was Ivan. Ivan actually never really had a story as a Slenderman proxy, but back then I thought his design was cool. But looking at it now, as 10 years later, I'm like, he kind of looks like a pirate with the eye patch and skull mask, and to me it's pretty funny actually. All I know for Ivan is that I wanted him to be the group leader or the team leader, and that was about it. That was all that I had going on for Ivan. He was the strong one, he was very protective, and basically like a big brother to the other two. So now with the rewrites, I decided to actually make him a big brother, so being from a very big Southern family. I hope that I pronounced that right. But since he was also raised at a farm, I imagine that he also has more practical skills. Like, my dude can make traps and trap people who intrude the forest. But obviously because of his build, well, you can't really see it in this drawing, but Ivan is a big guy, a big boy, and therefore he is also one of the attackers. But he prefers not to do it. He likes to actually capture people inside of his traps or in his traps. I can imagine it gives him some kind of satisfaction if his traps actually work out, even though sometimes it's pretty obvious that it is a trap. So I can imagine that he is kind of like amazed how stupid people can be. Moving on, last but not least, Natalie. She has probably changed the least compared to the two boys. She was also in a role-playing group and people really liked her design. And I personally didn't see any problems with her design either, so she stayed the same for the most part. As a Slenderman proxy, she was supposed to be the trap/weapon expert, so she was the one who provided other proxies with their traps and their weapons. Now, she kinda acts like the person who tries to lure in unsuspected people into the forest so they can either be marked by Tenebros or perhaps even getting killed by Tenebros or other sages if the person isn't worthy of becoming a follower of Tenebros or sage. I don't know why I said follower, but it does sound cool too. So yeah, that was basically the short backstory behind these three characters. I honestly didn't do much with them, as much as I do enjoy Slenderman proxies, and most of their stories are really cool or interesting, but for some reason I just couldn't really figure things out for my own proxies, and at some point I just lost interest in them. The only reason why I kept drawing Natalie, especially out of these three, was because of the role-playing group that she was in. And eventually I decided, you know what, I'm just not going to have them be proxies anymore. At some point they were just like a group of serial killers. Well, I never uploaded it, but I wrote a story about it. But then I was like, but that also doesn't kind of make sense. And then eventually I came up with the concept of Tenebros, and it's still somewhat the same as the Slenderverse, but now I could really play with it and kind of give Tenebros my own reason for why he actually needs servants. And from that point on, it was way easier writing these characters and figuring out new designs for them, like their masks. Their masks play a significant role as Tenebros sages. And I don't know, I think now I can really do more with them than back when they were a Slenderman proxy. But if I'm being really honest, I think that I was more of a fan of the opposite of Slenderman proxies. And if you were in the fandom or are in the fandom, you probably know about them. But they were servants of Slenderman's worst enemy, which was Selgo. Now, some people who know Creepypasta, like I said, probably know what I mean. For those who don't, I suggest you follow me on my social medias or even hit subscribe, because I will make a video about them too, and that will probably be the last time that I will talk about my Creepypasta phase. Anyway, have a nice day or night, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!